Good evening, everyone, and happy Wednesday. I hope everybody is doing well today, February 11th, 2026. I am Sonja, and I am your host tonight on Prim and Proper Sports. I hope everyone is doing absolutely amazing. Shout out to Pink Fan Fur, my girl who does all the real creation behind the scenes, and shout out to Brian Bistrilla for the production. And thanks to all of you for always supporting. Please come on, say hello, drop your comments. I will read them on air as long as they are appropriate. And thank you guys for everything you've done for me this month. Still getting birthday wishes. So I wanted to thank you all for that. Thank you guys so much, especially my sister Kelly Kamari, who actually called me. And I thanked a whole list of people the other day. And I'm just still celebrating all month. I think everybody should do that, right, guys? And speaking of celebrations, we've officially wrapped up the Super Bowl 60 to be exact. And there's, the NFL news never, ever, ever stops. Also, please make sure you follow us, McGrath Sports Network. You guys saw the intro when I came on. Share this live stream as well. And thank you for all the affiliate pages who allow me to share my live stream. Next Wednesday, I will have a special guest, Bo Crouch of Football Talk with Bo. He happens to be a Seattle fan. He lives in the Seattle, Washington area, Seahawks fan. And we'll be talking a little bit about how the Super Bowl win, of course, congratulating him on such an epic win. and going forth with that. So he'll be with us next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you for my YouTube subscribers as well. Let me make sure I don't miss any comments when you guys are coming on. So, yeah. All right, y'all. So, we are now in the post mortem phase of Super Bowl 60. Of course, if you didn't have a dog in the fight, don't worry about it. Everybody's been watching. Hello to you, Loppy. Thank you so much for joining me as always. And make sure you guys hit the bell on YouTube as well. All right, but anyway, the confetti is still being swept up. You guys know how I told you I'm still celebrating my birthday. Well, Seattle was in Disney, guys. They were down on the teacup rides and everything, and everything. Oh, hi, Paul. Sorry, I thought it was okay. Got your name. What's up, Paul? Good to see you. Um, and so, following this big championship game, y'all, the media cycle is still dominated by the legacy versus reality debate. Now, this is dependent on the focus of the retirement rumors and things like that. We're hearing of players unfollowing teams, making like innuendo statements and things like that following the big game. But let's talk about some coaching hires right now. Tonight, as you know, since the football season is kind of phased out, we'll be talking a little bit of NBA news tonight and MLB news. And it's the Winter Olympics, guys. Winter Olympics kicked off right after Super Bowl. And so sports world is illuminated with all of that as well. All right, so the Cleveland Browns have officially hired Todd Monken as their 19th coach in franchise history. This actually was supposed to be between, this week, them finalizing all the details and whatnot. But his primary mission is going to be finding an adaptable defensive coordinator to maintain that Browns aggressive scheme while adding his own spin. You guys know Todd Monken comes with a lot of coaching history. So he's bringing a lot of things back to Cleveland now. We'll see him actually bringing that information and that success and what have you to the Cleveland franchise. You guys know Shador Sanders has been named the starting quarterback. So Cleveland's got a lot of positivity going on. Shador, of course, the only starting quarterback for Cleveland to win his opening game. So kudos to him. Of course, draft is coming up here in the next 6 weeks, right around the corner, 6 to 8 weeks. With him adding for the defensive coordinator, he's also going to be looking to get a good draft pick. They currently hold the number 6 and number 24 overall picks in the upcoming draft. You guys know sometimes people change those around, what have you, for certain players, picks, what have you. But right now they're number 6 and number 24, respectively. On February 10th, the Baltimore Ravens have officially hired Anthony Weaver as their new defensive coordinator under head coach Jess Minter. Of course, Weaver returns to Baltimore, where he played from 2002 to 2005. So a lot of Ravens fans feel like he has those home ties with the organization. And I love to see when players come back to their own team and coach. We saw it with Mike Vrabel, who still needs to get some congratulations for taking that Patriots team to the Super Bowl in his first year. Now, I know a lot of y'all are saying the Patriots really didn't play anybody. They played the NFC South for their games away this year, their games out, their non-divisional games. And then they just played their division. So it was kind of like, go figure, they would be where they were in the Super Bowl. They hadn't played any real competition. But I digress on that. Of course, we've seen it. So congratulations to Mike Vrabel still. But yeah, back to Coach Weaver. He's returning to Baltimore, played there, and he was actually the Dolphins defensive coordinator. So congratulations on him moving up north. He's going to move from the beach to the snow. Black Monday casualties, you guys know, is still a lot of continuation. We already know about the coachings that were eliminated: Pete Carroll, Jonathan Gannon, and Kevin Stefanski, who Kevin, of course, now is with the Atlanta Falcons. Still a lot of casualties from those fallouts, and hires are still forthcoming. So we'll keep up with that. I will say some little gossipy news here tonight. I'm not surprised, but I am surprised of how it went down. I am talking about Stephon Diggs and Cardi B, guys. They have unfollowed each other right after the game. And so not only did Stephon lose the Super Bowl, but even though Cardi spent $1.2 million on an after party she has set up either way, if he won, if he lost, still was going to be an after party for Stefan Diggs. She didn't attend it, and neither did he, because he apparently had another one of his children's moms sitting with his mom at the game. And you guys can look it up. They're no longer together. So there's that. Cardi actually appeared with Bad Bunny on stage, and kudos to that couple. That couple that, if you guys watched the halftime, that couple really did get married. That was their wedding during Super Bowl 60. They had allegedly, well, actually, it's been proven, they sent out some wedding invites and they actually invited Bad Bunny. And his team was like, yeah, we don't know you guys. And of course, he can't come, but can you hop on a Zoom with us? So they got on a Zoom and they were like, listen, if you want to still do your wedding, this is what we'll do. You gotta change your plans for your wedding. So they did. And what it was is they still got married, and Bad Bunny actually signed as their witness on their wedding license and their actual nuptials. So they will never forget their wedding day, and the entire world watched. And so they could go in the Guinness World Book of Records as most viewed wedding vows, the highest number of guests. Thousands at home, well, millions at home, thousands in the stands, and all of that thing. So there's that. And there you go. So we'll keep up with the NFL news as things go around. And hello to you, Jeffrey. Happy birthday to you. So glad to know you had a birthday today. I did not realize your birthday was literally a week after mine. So happy birthday. All right, let's talk about NBA, guys. We're segueing into the NBA trade deadline repercussions. First of all, let me give a shout out to my Charlotte Hornets, who have been going on the road all the time, doing what they need to do and getting it done. Of course, big fight broke out with them and the Pistons a couple of nights ago, but that is not stopping these Charlotte Hornets from balling all the way out. Kudos to those guys, my home team back in the Carolinas. All right, let's talk about trade deadline just passed on February 5th. And these games are a first look at some of our new look rosters. Blockbuster recap: Anthony Davis to the Wizards, of course, in a shocking move. Dallas sent AD to Washington. James Harden, who's still in the league after all this time, to the Cavs. Cleveland is the winner of the week for getting him, having moved Darius Garland and Lonzo Ball to acquire Harden. And they are currently on a 9-2 run as well. And the Pacers are debuting under their center, Ivica Zubac, acquired from the Clippers on February 10th, which was yesterday, guys. The Pacers did beat the Knicks 137-134. What a close call. In an overtime thriller led by Pascal Siakam. 30 points, y'all. 30 points for Siakam. And Andrew Nembhard, y'all know him, 24 points, 10 rebounds. Kudos to the Pacers beating the Knicks. You guys do know the Knicks are under new leadership. They're under new leadership. And the East is going to look different this year. Still got Jason Tatum recuperating from the ACL tear, and just a bunch of stuff going on in the East right now. The Magic did top the Bucks, the Black Bang leading the way, while Joel Embiid, actually Joel, y'all, he's well right now. Let's hope he stays healthy. He did sit out against the Blazers to rest his knee, but he's back. So yeah, you're right. Pascal can play. Absolutely right. And yes, thank you so much, Jeffrey. You are welcome. All right, let's talk about the Winter Olympic Games, y'all. And I will segue back on some of the other news. And this is going to be an abbreviated show tonight because it's just me. And y'all know when it's me, I usually do about 30, maybe 45 minutes. But I'm only here as long as y'all interact with me. So there's that. 2026 Winter Olympics, of course, Milan Cortina. Games are in full swing. This is day 3 through 5 right now. Ice dance. Michigan duo Madison Chalk and Evan Bates are the headlines to watch in the rhythm dance. Those guys are amazing. The alpine skiing men's team combined, the downhill and the slalom took center stages on February 9th. That was just a couple of days ago. And the women's big air finals provided highlight reel footage on February 10th. So you guys, the winter games are here. It focuses a lot on skiing, things that happen during the winter. So just catch that on NBC. They got everything going on in Peacock. No affiliation here, just letting you guys know. All right, spring training has begun for the MLB. All you baseball fans out there who have just been waiting on this time of year, it is here. Never fear. Pitchers and catchers is no longer the catchphrase right now. It's already happening. The Red Sox, the Giants, the Rangers, the Braves, the White Sox, and the Diamondbacks, pitchers and catchers all reported on yesterday. Today, the Astros, Phillies, Blue Jays, Tigers, Orioles, Cubs, and Reds have reported. The World Baseball Classic, the WBC. Since this is the WBC year, guys, many stars are reporting earlier, than usual to prepare for this tournament, creating a much more intense early camp atmosphere than usual. So it's going to be interesting to see. They're out there warming up already. I mean, to hear the word spring and a lot of the country still covered by snow is just funny to me. But it is warm in Atlanta. It is warm in the South right now. We actually had upper 60s and or lower 60s. So we shall see. I mean, supposed to be 70s next week, y'all. I don't know. Did the groundhog see a shadow? I don't know. Like, are we done with winter? All right, NCAA basketball, February Madness, which is the precursor of March Madness. Y'all know it's my favorite time of year. Next to NFL is March Madness. This is when all the college teams are heating up. Rankings as of February 9th. Number one, Arizona holding the number one spot in the AP and coaches poll, followed by Michigan pushing for the number one spot in the net rankings. And number three is Houston. You guys remember Houston, right? The runners-up, Kevin Sampson, the alumni of University of North Carolina, Pembroke, my alum, head coach of that organization. Houston will not fall down. They are back again, guys, edging in the top three spots. The big game on yesterday, number 13, Purdue edged out number 7, Nebraska, 80-77 in a massive overtime thriller. This game likely solidified Purdue's jump in the upcoming brackets. And you got to really be thinking about how this is going to affect everybody else. Like we saw basically a change with the NCAA with football. You guys know the merger of the SEC and all the railroad rivalry. They brought all these teams in, and it made it super competitive for colleges to get to like playoff performances for collegiate games for football. It's the same thing. We saw like new names that we had not seen in the playoffs. It was no Auburn, no Alabama, no Georgia, just the big names, and no LSU. I mean, now they got Lane Kiffin, so we'll see what that looks like for next season. But these were like people that we never saw. Indiana, like what are you talking about? So here we go. Arizona previously was unbeaten to begin with. They are 23-1, y'all. They actually had their first loss on Monday when they lost to Kansas, who is number 9, 82-78 at the Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas freshman Flory Bingdunga was the star, putting up a double-double with 23 points and 10 rebounds. Despite the loss, though, guys, Arizona is still widely projected to be the number one team in the nation. So keep an eye out for them. Okay, he saw his shadow. Gotcha. So I guess if he saw his shadow, that means spring is coming. Is that what it is? I always mix those up. Feel free to drop that in the chat. Thank you, Jeffrey, for that. I appreciate it. All right. St. John, number 22 right now. They are pulling off the upset of the season this past Friday, beating number 3 UConn 81-72 at Madison Square Garden. UConn had an 18-game winning streak, y'all. But don't worry, the Huskies will be back. Don't Husky fans out there, it's still early. Rick Pitino, with this win, he actually ties Roy Williams, y'all, for third place in Division I history with 903 career wins. So congratulations to Rick. And then in SEC action, number 14 Florida dominated Georgia tonight with the 86-66. That's a blowout, guys. Victory, setting up a massive rivalry game against number 25 Kentucky this Saturday. So keep your eyes open, all you basketball lovers, NCAA supporters, SEC supporters. Keep an eye out for that. Tennessee versus Mississippi State is coming up. Huge quad one battle in Starkville. It's going to be, well, it happened tonight. My bad, guys. Happened tonight. Tennessee is 16-7 right now, and they are fighting to stay in the top half of the SEC standings. Remember when I was telling you guys, once you merge these groups and all these teams and your division gets bigger, it becomes more competitive, and it's so easy to fall out of playoff contentions early on. The top 5 outlook as the conference tournaments are approaching. This is the current hierarchy is shifting, and this is what it is. Arizona, number 1, 23-1 is their record. Michigan is in the number 2 spot, 22-1 is their record. Houston is number 3, their record is 22-2. Duke, let's not count my boys out. Holla, number 4, Duke is 22-2. And number 5, closing out the top 5 is Iowa State, y'all. 21-3 is their record. Now, let's talk a little bit about the NCAA women's team. On the flip side, the UConn dynasty continues, guys. Y'all know Paige and all her little friends, they all went into the WNBA, but UConn is still doing what they do for women's basketball. Even though the men's basketball team did stumble and take that loss, the UConn women are absolutely invincible. 42 and counting. Number 1, UConn blew out Creighton tonight, 94-44. Y'all, that is not a game. That is an obliteration. They have now won 42 games. Insane. Congratulations in advance to UConn. The record watches Aziz Foot scored 19 points and became the 10th player in UConn's history to reach 250 career three-pointers. What's up, Rochelle? How you doing, girl? Yes, go Duke. And since I'm celebrating my birthday, Duke, you got to win the rest of the month. You got to go into March Madness and do what you got to do. The DII spotlight in the MIAA, number 20, Pittsburgh State escaped with a 64-61 win over Missouri Western tonight, fueled by an 11-2 run in the fourth quarter. Now, even though it's the offseason, guys, the draft cycle is in high gear for the NCAA with football. I want to kind of peg back to that. The combine invites, y'all know the combine is coming up. This is right before the draft. The league officially announced 319 prospects have been invited to the NFL 2026 Scouting Combine in Indianapolis, which is in a couple of weeks, February 23rd through March 2nd. Boston College is like at the top. They have 3 Eagles captains, offensive lineman Jude Bowery, defensive end Quintavious Hutchins, and offensive lineman Logan Taylor, all received invites today. So congratulations to those gentlemen. And Bowery is a name to watch. Now, he didn't allow a single sack, y'all, in 320 dropback snaps last season for Boston College. So expect him to go in the first round is what I'm basically saying. The combine is not going to disappoint. The combine just measures their strength, hand span, speed, all of that. But at the end of the day, if the agility's there and they put up the stats in college, they have a solid chance of being drafted in April at the NFL draft. The Kansas trio, guys, Jalen Daniels and Enrique Cruz Jr. are among the Jayhawks that are heading to the combine after strong showings at the East-West Shrine Bowl. And it's just really, really big to see all these gentlemen get a chance to actually do what they need to do. Get a chance to make history, get a chance to actually be there. Thank you, Paul. Get a chance to actually live out their dream. It's extremely difficult to get into the NFL. And so when you see, these guys in college, they basically are playing amongst everyone else. And it's to see who's going to be the greatest. Then when they get in the combine and they are invited to the draft, they are competing with the greatest of the great from college. Then when they get to the NFL, now they're competing with the greatest of the great in the world. And so they have to show and prove, and they have to do what they need to do to be where they are. I legit almost forgot to talk about this because I was going to bring up some of this next week. So I'll go ahead just because I don't want too much time to pass. Let me dive back to the Super Bowl for a tick because this is my first show since the Super Bowl aired. MVP running back Kenneth Walker, guys, the third, took home the MVP trophy. He's the first running back to do so since 1998. He racked up 135 yards, rushing 5.0 average per carry, and almost single-handedly outgained the entire Patriots offense in the first half. Let me put it to you guys like this. If it wasn't for Christian Gonzalez for the Pats, I think this game would have really been a blowout real quick. And I actually said that. No shade because I kind of wanted the Patriots to win. Drake May being from Carolina, the Carolinas, him being a UNC Chapel Hill alum, and him being a Panthers fan. They showed a picture of him and his dad from 2015, 2016, when the Panthers went to the Super Bowl in that same stadium, Santa Clara, and he was watching the game, and now he had an opportunity to play in the game. So full circle moment. And there was a lot of players on both teams that were actually in proximity of Carolina or, Denver or what have you during the time that Super Bowl was played there. All right. So if you look at like the Malcolm Butler situation, you guys remember that play from over a decade ago? So this was a rematch from Super Bowl 49 between Seattle and the Patriots. This really, Seattle finally basically got their revenge. Let me just cut to the chase. They finally got their revenge for the whole Malcolm Butler thing. If you guys don't know the whole story, look it up. Pretty cool story, but it's definitely enough to have them playing with a chip on their shoulder. Sam Darnold, y'all, what a way to bounce back. I cannot congratulate this guy enough. This guy was drafted by the Jets, of course, went on to Carolina to play for a little bit, and then kind of started to fade. They saw him in Minnesota, excuse me, I was going to say Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then, he started to go into this backup role, and then Seattle gives him an opportunity, and he hits the ground running. I am so happy for him because we so often see quarterbacks that are faded into the sunset, and as a result, they never come back to that starting position unless, say, for instance, someone gets hurt on another team and they're like a Joe Flacco, they come in for a little bit, but they're not the named starting quarterback. So kudos to Sam Darnold. I mean, formerly a cast-off, he managed a clean game with a touchdown pass and solidifying his status as Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's the first person from the 2018 draft class to win a Super Bowl, if you guys can believe that. So congratulations to Sam Darnold. And it was just really ugly to say. I can't even think of a better word to describe it. It was horrible. It was horrific for Drake May. But he tried to hold his head. He was sacked so many times, guys. 6 times by that defensive Seattle front. And they just never let him out of sight. It was just like, where is your O-line? Where is anybody at this point? Because he literally was laid out so much. I was like, I guess he's just going to play the game laying down. But he hung in there, and considering he was playing with a banged up shoulder, you guys know it was like the 23rd game for them for the season. Everybody's pretty much hurt. But he took a hit during the Denver game, the AFC Championship game. It fell on his throwing shoulder, which he'd been having some severe problems with. So I'm just hoping he can bounce back and not require surgery or anything like that. But he played through it. And considering how many times he was sacked, I'm just glad to know that he made it all the way through. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here. Do not leave the area because I want you guys to have your phones out for QR codes. This is for Pearson Jones, my niece, who, of course, is doing her scholarship drive. You only have a few weeks left to donate. Of course, all monies she keeps are her monies. And if she raises the highest amount of money for her scholarship. She receives a matching scholarship from Delta Sigma Theta. This is for the Jabberwock Scholarship Contest that will take place on March 15th, 2026 at 3 p.m. in Greensboro, North Carolina. That's my niece. So you guys hang tight, get your QR codes, and thank you so much to everyone who's already donated. I'll be back in 1 minute.
The God above made you a masterpiece. The vision is clearer, nearer. My God, to thee, learn and to lean on his power. Your perspective can be sweet when circumstances are sour. I'm saying. I can see the vision clearer. Your identity is waiting, and you feel that hope is fading. Just hold on, it's gonna be alright. Trust in God, stand firm and hold tight. It's like that, yeah, yeah. It's like that, yeah, yeah. Meditation, I'm searching for a peace that's not present. I'm searching for feelings of solitude, emotions that's pleasant. Treasure, what do you deem important versus essential? We put our heart and soul in every line behind instrumentals. Coincidental? I think not. God's plan from the very beginning. Create the type of music that make people think twice before sinning. Pleading, Holy Father, please forgive our trespasses. Confusing things we want for things we need in life, our must-haves. Selfish, inconsiderate, narcissistic people. Christ died for all the world, so there is power in Jesus. Issues happen, disagreements, dissensions, distortions. This fallen flesh, we still forget sometimes that God is our portion. Forcing, others won't cut it, nor manipulation. One thing that's very destructive is self-righteous behavior. Satan, he's crafty, throwing darts like Bailey's.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to Pearson Jones, my niece. Continue to do well on your scholarship drive. And thank you, everyone who has supported that. Let me go back and grab these comments. Okay, Paul. Thank you so much for joining me. You're absolutely welcome. And thanks for always joining me when you can. You can watch the rest of it later on. All right, and Jeffrey wants to talk about Rico Dowdle. So he says, I have a question. My birthday wishes they don't bring back Rico, the running back. You think we're going to bring him back to where him and Bryce Young could get us back into the playoffs and make our city famous, Super Bowl trophies? I love Rico, and I think he's the right weapon for the Carolinas to be in Panther Stadium. Yeah, so let's talk about that in just a minute. Let's go to some other stuff. First of all, we got a coaching carousel, guys. So I told you guys about everybody that was already hired and fired. Of course, Atlanta Falcons have Kevin Stefanski. He's joined by a revitalized leadership group. Matt Ryan is president of football, and he brought him in. And Ian Cunningham has been named the general manager. The Baltimore Ravens, of course, I told you guys earlier on, have now Anthony Weaver as their DC under head coach Jesse Minter. The Tennessee Titans have given Robert Saleh another opportunity at head coaching, bringing in also Brian Daboll from the New York Giants as his OC. And Pittsburgh, guys, after Mike Tomlin stepped down in a stunning move, Mike McCarthy is now the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm interested to know your thoughts. Of course, Aaron Rodgers was saying that he was hanging up his cleats. That's what was projected. Pittsburgh had only given him 1 year of a contract. And you guys remember they were teamed up in Green Bay. This is the thing. Aaron got Mike fired on his birthday in Green Bay. Now, he says the waters are calm after that. And of course, him and McCarthy talk like every week or whatever. But do they really? So my question is, do you think that now Aaron Rodgers decides to negotiate for another contract and stay the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers now that Mike McCarthy is the named coach? And if you don't know, Mike McCarthy is only going to be their 4th coach in the last 50 years. Pittsburgh does not release their coaches, and their coaches are very loyal. Mike Tomlin, almost 20 years. He had 19 years and change with the organization. So that's going to be interesting. Let's talk about a little bit of Panthers news real quick. Jeffrey actually kind of gave me a little prolong here. After a breakout 25-26 season, the Panthers are opting for continuity, but adding veteran wisdom. Now, Darrell Bevel was hired today as an associate head coach, offensive specialist. This is a direct move to help Bryce Young enter a critical 4th season with a Super Bowl winning mind on staff. Now, you guys know that this was Bryce's make or break season, and he did not disappoint, y'all. big maturation, over 3,000 yards this year. His passer rating went up, his interceptions went down. I think he had 23 touchdowns, only 11 interceptions this year compared to previous years. So he's gradually getting better. And he just was more calm. He was more calm and more in control. Even in the ugliest of situations, Bryce still managed to use his body in an advantageous way to avoid being sacked. He avoided the scramble, everything you name it. He ran for his first downs. Bryce got it done. So they exercised the fifth year option on him because they were debating on whether or not they were going to sign the contract because his rookie seasons are coming to a conclusion. But they were like, hey, we'll exercise the fifth year option and see what he looks like next year, and then we will revisit. So the team did confirm that they are retaining Ijiro Evero, the defensive coordinator, despite him being heavily sought after. He went on like at least 3 or 4 interviews, y'all, with other organizations. They were heavily seeking him for their head coaching positions, et cetera, et cetera. But he's going to stay, and so is Brad Isaac, the offensive coordinator. So I'm so glad about that because we really needed those two guys to stay where they are. T-Mac, you guys know him, star rookie, AP NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. And by the way, his jersey was out of stock for so long. If you guys know anything about me, you know I love the number 4. Birthday's on the 4th, and T-Mac wears number 4. So I just got a notification yesterday that his jersey was back in stock, and who went ahead and got it? Me, thanks to one of my classmates who gave me a gift card. And so I got a chance to use part of it at Fanatics for my jersey. So it has been shipped, and I will be wearing it on probably on Wednesday or sometime soon. But congratulations to T-Mac. I'm looking for the Jalen Coker jersey too. So they got it in black, but I want it in blue. If anybody knows how I can get it in blue, please let me know. I got so many black jerseys. I really want a blue one. I have a Cam Newton jersey, of course. My Bryce jersey is black. It's like the only jerseys I saw that were blue was Xavier Legette, and I have not decided about whether or not I'm going to get that jersey, but definitely want Coker's. Of course, had Coker's dad, Jamal, on my podcast a few weeks ago, literally like right before the Panthers playoff game. So I want the Coker jersey. So Jamal, if you're listening, because I know you do subscribe, please let me know because I know you had a gang of jerseys at your house. Please let me know if you just got those customized or what, and what I need to pay you guys to get me a blue one as well. Luke Kuechly, guys. Luke Kuechly, officially named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame last week. There was some contention on whether or not this was his first ballot or if last year was. I'm a little bit of bittersweet because his best friend, Greg Olsen, you guys know we called him assault and battery, actually lost his brother the same day that Luke was actually inducted. Of course, that ceremony will be in Canton in August, but he said he would have been right by his side had he known, but he was in the hospital with his brother, who unfortunately passed away. So our condolences to Greg Olsen. Rico Dowdle, Jeffrey brought him up. He's hitting the free agency. After a second straight 1,000-yard season. You guys know he came from Dallas. We always said, hey, thank you, Dallas, for Rico Dowdle. But he's just not happy with being a co-player with Chuba Hubbard. You guys know we kind of alternated between both of them. Dowdle got us out of some really big situations, and I really feel like a lot of game wins came because of him actually being on our squad. I think he illuminated Chuba because Chuba had been there for a little bit, and some of his performance was not up to standard as if I would have liked to see, or some Panthers fans. And sometimes, a little competition forces you to just really show up and show out. So him being there showed Chuba up so that he could show us just how well he did. But Rico even played through injuries. So I really wish they would bring Rico back. That's my thoughts on it. Even though he's already verbalized that he wants to go to a team where he's number one and basically the only one. So as I always say, the verdict is still out on that. Let's talk a little bit about another NFC South team, the Atlanta Falcons. Trench warfare era has begun under a new regime for them. Their new general manager, of course, Ian Cunningham, emphasized a couple of days ago, he did this big conference, that the team will be building through the trenches, y'all. citing Seattle Super Bowl win as a blueprint. Okay, guys, like for real, really, you're citing Seattle Super Bowl as your catalyst for coming up through the trenches. All right, we'll see. The South is going to be really competitive. There's some impending free agents with Atlanta. The biggest headline is Kyle Pitts. Falcons have until March the 3rd to decide on whether or not they're going to franchise tag him. It's going to be approximately $16 million if they do so. Other names that have been coming up in that same talk are Tyler Algier and Caden Ellis. And let's be clear, the Falcons need to keep all of them. So I'm not sure what that looks like. Of course, they got the leadership reorganization beyond the field. Greg Beatles was promoted to their CEO, and the team also promoted 4 new officers to streamline their business operations. So we'll see. I do want to talk to you guys because the South is going to be competitive. New Orleans with Tyler Shuck and just the maturation of that team under their new head coach from the Lions, no doubt. The Bucks will be looking to bounce back because they cleaned house. The only person left down there that's still the same as Todd Bowles. So y'all know what that means. If they don't make changes next season after cleaning house, Todd is next. I mean, they cleaned out everybody. So they're going to be looking to bounce back. Of course, my Panthers are definitely looking to not have to look for a 3-way tie to win the division. And Bryce is going to be looking to make sure he earns this contract. So we're going to be standing 10 toes down. And then everybody laughs at us. They say we're the worst in the division. We're not. The worst in the league, excuse me. We're not. But we will see. So there's that. All right, as I get ready to wrap up here, guys, let's go ahead and close out with some Hall of Fame talk. Now, I told you guys the names last week. Let's talk a little bit about the backstory. Of course, I told you Luke Kuechly, linebacker, Carolina Panthers, played with us 2012 through 2019, 7 seasons, known as Superman and Assault and Battery with his sidekick, Greg Olsen. Kuechly is one of the most decorated defensive players in NFL history. After a legendary career at Boston College, he was the 9th overall pick for the Panthers. So he's retiring. He retired early after only 8 seasons. You guys probably don't remember. He was concussed back-to-back games, literally. Was concussed, clear concussion protocol, came back, was concussed again the very next game. I still remember like it was yesterday. Carted off, literally tears on his face. But his impact was undeniable. He's one of only 3 players to win Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012 and Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. And back-to-back seasons, he was a 7-time Pro Bowler and 5-time first-team All-Pro, essentially acting as a coach on the field who often called out the opposing team's plays before they snapped the ball. A lot of pundits have talked about how his eyes on the quarterback was stellar. He was an assassin. He could read plays like none other. And he would hurry up and say, they're doing this, they're doing that. And he was the difference maker. We miss you playing, Luke, but congratulations to you. Keeping it to the NFC South, none other than Drew Brees, quarterback for the San Diego at the time Chargers, 2001 through 2005, and then the New Orleans Saints from 2006 to 2020, a long tenured history. And the city of New Orleans loves Drew Brees. He has given so much personally to the city to rebuild after Katrina, invested his personal money, and he now owns a restaurant there in the area. So continuously giving back to the city that he played for so long. First ballot inductee after a shoulder injury almost ended his career in San Diego. He signed with the New Orleans Saints in 2006. A city that was still reeling from Katrina when he signed, and he became the face of that city's rebirth. He's retiring as the NFL's all-team leader in career passing yards, 80,358. That is crazy big. And his completions. He led the Saints to their first and only Super Bowl, winning MVP for that specific Super Bowl. He holds the record for the most consecutive games with a touchdown pass, which is 54, and he has broken Johnny Unitas' long-standing mark. Moving on, another NFC winner, this time a wide receiver. none other than Mr. Birdman himself, Larry Fitzgerald, wide receiver, Arizona Cardinals, 2004 through 2020. First ballot legend, 17-season career in Arizona, known for having some of the best hands in the history of the sport. He famously had more career tackles, 41, than drop passes, which was 29. He's in because he's ranking second all-time in career receiving yards, 17,492, and receptions, 1,432. And he only trails Jerry Rice, y'all. He's right behind him. His 2008 postseason run is statistically the greatest for a wide receiver in NFL history, almost single-handedly carrying the Cardinals to their Super Bowl. The next person is a kicker, special teams, Adam Vinatieri. At the point, he was the oldest kicker in the league. Patriots, 1996, New England Patriots through 2005, and then the Indianapolis Colts, 2006 through 2019. He's the GOAT of kickers, y'all. He entered the league as an undrafted free agent and played a staggering 24 seasons kicking, y'all. Like, for real. Like, his hamstring was on point. He's the only player, listen to this, the only player to score 1,000 points with two different franchises. So we got 1,000 with the Patriots and 1,000 with the Indianapolis Colts. He's in because he's the all-time leading scorer, 2,673 points in kicks, y'all. In kicks. He earned the nickname Mr. Clutch for kicking game-winning field goals. You guys remember some of those games in the final seconds of 2 Super Bowls, and for his legendary tuck rule game kick in a blizzard. So congratulations to Adam Vinatieri and the senior inductee, guys. Wow, y'all. Roger Craig, running back, San Francisco 49ers, 1983 through 1990. At the time, Oakland Raiders, 1991, and the Minnesota Vikings, 1992 through 1993. Y'all, he has been out of the league. He was voted in by the seniors committee. He was the versatile engine of the 1980s, the 49ers dynasty. He was the prototype for the modern dual threat back. He's in because he became the first player in NFL history to record 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving in the same season, a feat only matched by none other than Marshall Faulk and, you guessed it, Christian McCaffrey since. He won 3 Super Bowls and was a central figure in Bill Walsh's West Coast offense. So congratulations to all those inductees. Definitely a big time of year for them. Of course, everybody's going to be inducted in August. It's always in Canton, Ohio, first week of August. The Hall of Fame game will be kicking off the season. And yeah, with that, guys, that's going to wrap up everything I have going for tonight. I appreciate all the likes, loves, comments. Thank you to Jeffrey. Thank you to Paul. Thank you to Rochelle. And all of you who watched and didn't comment, I just appreciate the viewership. I hope everyone has an amazing day. If you came on late, this show will re-air at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, February 12th. And other than that, I will see you guys on Friday. It'll be Friday with the fellas, myself, J-Train, B. Strella, and you never know who else may stop by. And with that, guys, I bid everybody a good night. Y'all be blessed and take care, all right?